Hi, my name is Alan Lamont. I'm going to bring a message now about the Order of the Holy Sepulchre and also the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. And I've been sharing in different messages that it's the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre that rule over Jerusalem. And that is the truth. I'm going to bring some history now about the Order of the Holy Sepulchre. But first, just let me add this, that the government of the Vatican City State, really, that government rules over all governments. And what we really need to know is which Vatican knighthoods control which governments, which areas of the earth do they have authority and do they govern. And the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, that is given authority to rule over the Temple Mount and Jerusalem. It always has had that authority. And okay, the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem is a Roman Catholic order of knighthood under the protection of the Pope. It traces its roots to Duke Godfrey of Bouillon, who was the principal leader of the First Crusade in 1496. Pope Alexander created the office of Grand Master of the Order, and the office vested in the papacy. The office of Grand Master remained vested in the papacy until 1949. Since then, a cardinal has been Grand Master, and the Pope also today is the sovereign of the order, and it enjoys the protection of the Holy See and has its legal seat at the Vatican City. 5 major orders were formed in the Holy Land between the late 11th century and the early 12th century, and the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre in 1099, also the Knights Templar in 1118, the Knights Hospitaller in 1099, the Knights of the Hospital of St. Mary of Jerusalem, otherwise known as the Teutonic Knights, and the Knights of St. Lazarus. And these orders really were there. And just to give you some information, the Templar Knights who contracted leprosy were sent to the care of the Order of St. Lazarus. These knights trained the Brethren of St. Lazarus in the military arts, and they were responsible for transforming the order into a military one, as well as also the Hospitaller of St. John in Jerusalem. Shortly after the First Crusade, they had become militarized by the 1130s and went on with the Knights Templar to become one of the 2 largest and most influential military orders. Indeed, Godfrey de Bouillon, the uncrowned king of Jerusalem, was so impressed with the dedication of these hospital workers under its leader Gerard, and with their work towards the sick and the wounded, that King Godfrey de Bouillon supported and gave them funds and facilities. And you'll find information like this, but what people don't realise is that they were military orders to fight the wars of the government of the Vatican. They were there to enforce the temporal power of the Pope. They were there to, bring papal crusades, and so that's the real nature of these orders. And the ultimate fall of the Kingdom of Jerusalem to the Muslims in 1291 did not suspend pilgrimages to the tomb of Christ or the custom of receiving knighthood there. And when the custody of the Holy Land was entrusted to the Franciscan order, they continued this pious custom and gave the order its first Grand Master after the death of the King of Jerusalem. And the Order of the Holy Sepulchre really is an order that really rules over the Holy Sepulchre, and that is, as we know, the Temple Mount today. And that is still their place of jurisdiction. And as I said, we need to know which knighthood orders control what nations, what governments, what regions across the earth. The Holy Sepulchre today is very important to the Vatican. The Vatican will eventually in the future move its throne from the Vatican city-state, St. Peter's, to the Temple Mount. And this is why the Church of the Holy Sepulchre rules over Mount Moriah, the Temple Mount today. And every Grand Master of the Order is ruled by the Jesuits, and the Popes of Rome, as I've said, they are the sovereigns, they are the ones that oversee this order, but the Jesuits really do control this knighthood, thereby controlling the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. And this is what people really need to know, that it is not the Muslims that rule over that territory. It is really the order of the Holy Sepulchre. And okay, I'm just going to explain something else that's very interesting. Pope Pius re-established the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem in 1847, and he reorganized the order. Pius also ordained that the order's cape or mantle, as worn by the original knights, be a white cloak with the cross of Jerusalem in red enamel. Pius also assumed the title of Grand Master. The title of Grand Master is also now held by a cardinal of the Roman Curia, who is resident in Rome at the Palazzo della Rovere. The 15th century palace of Pope Julius, immediately connected to the Vatican, it serves as the order's international headquarters. There are several grades of knighthood in the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre, or the Equestrian Order, and these grades of knighthood, except for the highest grade, these are both open to both men and women. They are the Knight of the Collar, Knight Dame Grand Cross, Knight Dame Commander with Star, Knight Dame Commander, and Knight Dame. And in some jurisdictions the term lady is used rather than dame, but a lot of Vatican knighthoods use the term dame. And this is also an award of merit, and those knights and ladies making a pilgrimage to the Holy Land today receive the pilgrim's shell from the Latin Patriarch. And the Vatican also, in the Pope's name, approves all knighthoods and officially seals each diploma of appointment. In ecclesiastical heraldry, the Order of the Holy Sepulchre is one of only 2 orders whose insignia may be displayed by a clerical coat of arms. Knights and ladies of the order display their arms in the badge of the order, while knights and ladies of the rank Grand Cross surround their shield with a ribbon. Okay, moving on to the Grand Masters of the order. In 1496, Pope Alexander created the office of Grand Master of the Order. Until 1949, the office was vested in the papacy, and afterwards the following cardinals have held that office, which I won't really read. There's a lot of information that isn't really that relevant, to be honest. Okay, now you do find that all nations across the earth are really ruled over by Vatican knighthoods, and this is the hidden structure of the one world government today. As I've said previously, it's the Vatican government. That's what it is, The Pope is the king of all kings, and it is really proclaimed, the Pope really kingdom is really worldwide, that he is governor of the world. And Jerusalem, was really opened up through the Crown British Empire, the Commonwealth, and they used the Crown Order of the Garter British Empire to really, and Winston Churchill, incidentally, he was a member of the Order of the Garter. And most prime ministers actually do become knighted into that order of the British Empire. And but the Vatican used Great Britain to really open up Israel again, so the Jews could return, but ultimately to control them, through the Masonic structure today. Uh, all the leaders in Israel today are high-level Masons, and the Vatican uses Masonry to control and also infiltrate governments. But it's the orders of knighthood that are the most powerful in the one world government, or the New World Order, really. And it's understanding, you know, what authority these knighthoods have in what nations and what governments they control. That's the key to this. And the Knights of Malta also do have power in controlling Israel. That's the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. There's other knighthoods. Let me just give you a list. There's the Supreme Order of Christ, the Order of the Golden Spur. Now these are papal orders of chivalry. And you have the Order of Pius, you have the Order of St. Gregory the Great, and the Order of St. Sylvester. You have the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, and the Teutonic Knights. And there are other royal knighthoods underneath this, but these are the papal Vatican knighthoods that govern the nations of the earth. And this is a hidden system of control that has been in position, you know, for generations, really. And you can do research on this yourself. You can go to different Vatican websites, and you can go on Wikipedia, and you can just look into this whole Vatican knighthood structure that governs all governments and world politics, really. So that's really just what I'm bringing out. Just bring a conclusion. I'm going to make this very brief message. The Temple Mount today is ruled over by the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and that is the real power over Jerusalem. It is not any other, okay? It is the Vatican. And the Vatican rules Israel through the order, you know, of the Holy Sepulchre. So, you know, the Knights Templar also, you know, were not destroyed. You know, they were suppressed, okay, they were persecuted, but they really were based again at the Crown, which is obviously the Temple Church, the Templar Temple Church in London, the Papal City of London. And so that's where the Knights Templars have authority today, and they do exist. That's why there's so much disinformation about, you know, Holy Grails and all of this, and Dan Brown's disinformation he brought out, and other book about Holy Blood and Holy Grail and all of them, really. When the truth is that the Knights Templar do still exist from the Papal City of London, and they control the British government, the Templars. They also control Freemasonry. That is why Masonry, the highest Masonic degree, is the Knight Templars, and subordinate to them are the Order of St. John of Jerusalem. And it's the really the Order of St. John, the Knights Hospitaller, the Order of St. John, that really do govern, you know, the United Nations. They govern America. And so that's the real New World Order, folks. You know, that's it. It's Vatican knighthood orders, and you can do your own research on this. And an excellent place for this, two actually, is Craig Oxley of the website Unhive Mind. Craig deals mainly with papal bloodlines, and to me he is the one with the revelation on that. That's the truth of it. I don't even try and go into papal bloodlines. I don't even attempt to, because I don't need to. I mean, Craig has covered that, and he really brought a lot of that information out into the alternative media, and exposing the true conspiracy, the real New World Order. Eric John Phelps deals with the Jesuits and history, and obviously how they currently control governments. In that sense, he deals a lot more with the knighthoods. Eric's website is vaticanassassins.org. There is people that are really bringing the truth out, but there are millions who are still really deceived by the agents of Rome and by the intelligence organizations that control the internet and control YouTube. Okay, thanks for listening, and remember, all roads lead to Rome.